Have you ever wanted to go on a heartfelt journey in the lives of your loved ones and newfound acquaintances? Do you enjoy listening and engaging in uplifting discussions that leave you motivated and inspired to take action in your own life? This podcast is a space where we have in-depth conversations on family, health, spirituality, entrepreneurship, and well, just plain old life. I'm Jesse DeLeon, and this is my passion. Join me on a walk into the fascinating narratives and meaningful conversations that shape our experiences. Welcome to The Knowing, a Life and Stories podcast. Good day, everyone, and welcome back to The Knowing, a Life and Stories with me, Jesse DeLeon, as your host. Thank you again for tuning in and for your support, for subscribing, for liking. And if you think about it, if you wouldn't mind making a comment, sort of a review on what you think about the episode as you listen to the episodes, I would greatly appreciate it. It would help out the podcast. So thank you again. Do you feel inspired? What inspires you? This was a question that I asked, that I've been pondering myself this weekend, really. Well, I'm always asking myself, and I'm always, looking around me to see where I can acquire inspiration. And it can come in many forms, shapes, and sizes, of course. And I just thought it was a good topic for us to reflect on, so that we can start our mornings off with hope and with a sense of joy that there's something to look forward to, something that's around the corner that we have not yet discovered, or something that we will rediscover. So I'm going to start by telling you the things that inspire me and kind of go over some of those things. Now, I'm going to leave out a lot of people, a lot of inspirations that have inspired me throughout my life. And so I'm just going to go over a few with you. The one thing that inspires me most at the start of the day is knowing that the Holy Spirit is with me, knowing that I am not alone. As you all know, I live alone. I'm single and I enjoy it. I'm very happy, very joyful. And when I wake up in the morning, I start listing out loud the things that I'm grateful for, the things that I'm thankful for, and instantly it starts the day off like on a good footing, right? And on days that I'm going to record the podcast, I ask the Holy Spirit to be present with me, to inspire me with the topic for the episode, and also to give me the words that I need to use that might reach you, that might inspire you, that might be food for thought for you. And so I'm super, super grateful and inspired by the Holy Spirit, because the more I learned about my faith and the history of the church, the more I understood how the Holy Spirit works within us and around us all the time. And as I mentioned, I live alone, I don't feel alone. I don't feel this sadness because I might eat breakfast alone, or have coffee alone, or do my prayers and meditations in the morning alone. I don't feel lonely, because I remind myself always that the Holy Spirit is with me. And as I was saying about the podcast, it truly is so helpful to me to just call on the Holy Spirit and say, Holy Spirit, come and help me to speak with love, with kindness, with a warmth, with engagement that will help to deliver a message, whatever the message is, in hopes that it inspires you to just do your best and be your best, and to step into the world in the morning with hope. I am also inspired by my brothers and sisters. I'm inspired by their strong work ethic, by their love of family, by their commitment to their spouses and their children. I'm inspired by their faith. They are so strong in their faith, and it's so wonderful to be able to be on the phone with them, or get a text from them, or send them a text. And when I'm inspired to or when they're inspired to send me something that is uplifting in terms of how our faith is so prevalent in our lives, and how it strengthens us and moves us. It brings us joy. I'm inspired by their courage, the courage that they have every day, and by their wisdom, and how they impart that, and how we impart that to one another. It's such a beautiful thing to have those kinds of friendships, not just outside of the family with your friends and coworkers, but within your own family, within your community. And I just find such great sense of comfort in knowing that my siblings are there for me in all these ways. And they truly do inspire me, because they are kind, and they're loving, and they're giving, and at the ready always to lend a helping hand, or to give a kind, thoughtful word. And so I'm just going to ask you to, look to your family, look to your friends, and whatever that family looks like to you, to be inspired by them and to also inspire them. Was this weekend, I go to this coffee shop called Trumpet and Drum. It's on Magazine Street in New Orleans in the Uptown district. And I bring a book with me when I have time to read. And sometimes I just have time to go for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. And I go there because it's such a beautiful, serene, peaceful setting. And I like to sit outside, even if it's a warm, humid day, because there's this huge, beautiful oak tree. And if any of you follow me on Instagram, you know how much I love oak trees, and I'm always photographing them, and always just inspired by the oak trees, and by the healing energy and vibe that I get from those beautiful oak trees that are very prominent here in our great state of Louisiana. And with its Spanish moss, with just it's so whimsically blowing in the wind. And so I sit under this big oak tree, and there's a beautiful Japanese maple that just hovers right over the table that I like to go to and sit at if it's available. And so I was there, and once a month they do what they call a speakeasy, and the owner of the coffee shop, it was what he was inspired to do, right? Not only is he an entrepreneur, he's also like a developer of properties in the area. He's also a certified therapist, right? And he is just very, very interesting. And he opened this coffee shop with this inspiration from Paris that he wanted to bring to New Orleans, or add to New Orleans. And so one Saturday a month, there's a speakeasy. So I saw him walking in, and this particular day, he looked really kind of cool. Like, not that he doesn't look cool, but he was just dressed kind of like a rock star. He had his cowboy boots on. He had his fitted jeans on. He had a really nice button-up dress shirt that kind of was a little more fitted than he normally wears. And I could tell he had a cool new haircut. And he was walking up with a microphone and with, I guess, like a speaker that you attach to the mic and into the guitar. And so his hope and desire was that people would be inspired to, perform at the speakeasy, whether it be reading poetry or singing, telling a story. Well, I was sitting outside about, 15 minutes after he got there. And then I started to hear the music, and I was inspired to go in. And to my surprise, it was he who was singing. Well, I didn't know he sang. I didn't know he had interest in singing. I didn't know he was enthusiast of singing or of music. I really don't know him well. I've met him a couple of times, and each time I've met him, I've asked him to be a guest on the show, to which he agreed. And I'm just going to say I've dropped the ball many times on pursuing him to be on the show, and he wants to do it. So tune in. One day he will, I promise you, because he's a very interesting person. And so anyway, he was singing, and I was so inspired. I was so moved that he would be doing that. It takes a lot of courage to get up and put yourself out there, and particularly to get up in front of a crowd and sing. I wish I could do that. I wish I'd been born with that gift. I think if I had been born with that gift, oh my gosh, who knows what stages I would be performing on right now or throughout my years. But it just gave me a sense of joy and almost a profound pride for him. And I know it couldn't have been easy. He doesn't even strike me as the kind of guy that enjoys getting up in front of crowds. But there he was doing it. He was pursuing his passion. And I'm assuming that's his passion because that's what he was doing, right? And I just sat there, and I sat there to the very end. And there was another person that went up and sang, and he gladly gave him his guitar and the mic and said, please take over. And the person did, and he was great too. But Nick comes back on and does another set. And at the end, I just went up to him and reintroduced myself. He said, "Of course, I remember you, Jesse." And I said, "I just want to tell you, I am so excited. I am so inspired by you. I didn't know that you could sing. I didn't know you were interested in singing." I said, "But wow, what a joy to watch you pursue your passion." And so it's so inspiring to me. And what it says to me is, and I want to say it to you all, it's never too late to do what we want to do, to pursue our dreams, our goals, our passions, to pursue that which has been given to us, right? God has given us many gifts, and then left the Holy Spirit behind to guide us in hopes that we would follow and use our gifts to serve in the greatest ways that we're meant to serve. And there's so much healing that comes in by way of music and lyrics, and you get to really know someone more deeply by the lyrics of the songs that they choose, and by the songs that they choose. If you really tune in, it really, I feel, tells you a lot about who they are on a deeper level, in ways that we never get to see them in those ways. So when you are listening to someone sing, pay attention to the word, to the song choice, and to the lyrics of the words, because I guarantee you there's some part of that story and in those lyrics of that song, of those songs, that is telling a little bit about a deeper part of who they are, who are singing these songs, right? So I felt like I got to know him in a deeper, richer way. And so he was so grateful and so thankful. And he thanked me for listening and for the compliments. And I then reminded him, "I know I've asked you to be on the show, and I really want you on the show. And please forgive me for dropping the ball." And he says, "Well, you know where I am, and you don't have to apologize." He says, "I'm ready to do it whenever you are." So he will be a guest on the show, because I want to have him speak on the things that on his interests. He has so many interests. And that's what I want to say to you. We don't have to be married to one thing. Look at Jeff and Darren. They're my producers. This is just one thing that they do. And I'm inspired by Jeff and Darren, because they're one thing, they helped me to make this possible for me, because as I've said before, I'm an imbecile when it comes to technology, and I feel safe and taken care of and supported by them. But this is yet just one passion, one gift that they have. They have many other gifts. They have full-time jobs and careers that they pursue, and they have families. They have other commitments, but they're doing a lot of things, not just one thing. So we don't have to be married to one thing. So anyway, I'm inspired by you guys. For anybody that writes a comment to me and that tunes in, I'm so inspired. It makes me want to keep going. And so I just want to encourage you with that sense of seeking, the sense to seek out inspiration. And it comes in many different ways. I was listening. I was on my Instagram, and I spend about 30 minutes on my Instagram after I pray and meditate in the morning, because I use that as sources of inspiration, right? So this morning, a person from Ireland comes across my newsfeed. His name is Colin Robertson. His Instagram channel is called Colin Reports. That's CAOLAN Reports, REPORTS. I was so inspired by his bravery, by his courage, by his tenacity to report the news. Now, I'm not saying listen to him for his politics, but I want you to, maybe check him out, because he's reporting on world news, particularly what's going on in Ireland, with how Russia has come in and basically they've kind of commandeered this area called Limerick, and they've created a huge or they built a huge what's it called, like a plant, that whereby they are having something made there and then having it shipped directly from Ireland to the Russian ports, out of the ports of Limerick in Ireland. And he's reporting on that and how it relates to the war between Russia and the Ukrainians. And he's literally on boots on the ground in Ukraine, reporting right now on the horrible things that are happening because of the war between Ukraine and Russia. And he's showing us live footage of things that are going on. And it's really, really troublesome, and it's sad. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to ask you to please pray for Russia and pray for the Ukrainians especially. But I was so inspired by his bravery and his courage and his tenacity to be there and putting himself in harm's way to report what's really happening there. And he, he gives a lot of homage to the men and women in the armed forces, and pays a lot of respect to them. So, and we need to pray for them too. Pray for for soldiers in the military around the world. A lot of times they don't even know why they're in the war. They're just serving their country. And that's a big responsibility and a big sacrifice. So that is also another way we can be inspired, by looking at those people in the military, in the armed forces, that are giving of themselves, of their lives every single day, so that we don't even have to think about it. We don't even worry. We don't even think about what's going over there. We're having our coffee. We're meeting friends for lunch. We're having a glass of wine at night, enjoying the comforts of our home and our warm bed. And that's all great. It's we ought not feel guilty about that, but maybe be inspired to occasionally throughout the day think about the people that are not living the kind of lives that we are so blessed and so truly gifted to be able to live. I get inspiration also from my coworkers, who are incredibly talented. They're extremely accepting of me when I came to join their team almost a year and a half ago now. And their kindness to me, the kindness and the acceptance and the love that they show me, it just inspires me to want to do that for a total stranger, because I was a total stranger to them, and yet they welcome me with open arms. And that is truly inspiring to me, because how oftentimes do we do that? How oftentimes do we, I speak often about how oftentimes we say hello to a stranger, or offer help to someone that we see might need it, or even giving a little, money to a homeless person on the street, or food, or whatever you're so inspired to do for that person. It really is huge. And when we do something like that, we're not only giving the gift, we're also receiving a gift from them, right? From being able just to do something kind for someone, to give to someone who's in need, whether it be verbal, whether it be monetary, whether it be a hug, an embrace, a handshake, a compliment. I love you. You look great. In fact, I noticed this guy in the coffee shop, and he was studious, very much studious, working on his work. And I noticed he had really great, strong legs. And he came outside to take a breather when I was back outside. And I saw him, and I said hi. And I said, listen, I just want to tell you, I want to give you a compliment. I went in to get some water, and I noticed you, and I saw that you were so intently, focused, and also noticed how fit you are. And I just wanted to tell you that you have great, strong legs. And he said, wow, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I needed to hear that today. I work on it, and I know the value of that. I mean, I work hard. I work out hard on myself. And it's so nice when someone acknowledges, takes the time to have the confidence, the comfort, the in themselves, the knowing of themselves, that they can give someone, a total stranger, a compliment, especially if it's the same sex. Girls don't have a challenge doing that, but men do. Men have a challenge to give each other a compliment. But I'm going to encourage you, men out there, it is so deeply masculine and so deeply strong to be able to in your strength and in your masculinity, to be soft and compassionate, and to be warm and engaging and loving, and to give someone a compliment, a pick me up, especially if it's another brother. So just hopefully you'll see the value in that, and you'll start doing that today. Father Curtis Zuckerman, he is a newly ordained priest. And when I tell you, he is so devout, and he's so pious and so humble. And he recently was ordained, and he's from Louisiana, the New Orleans area, and he was the celebrant of the Latin Mass last Thursday, and it was so inspiring to see someone so young and so devout and devoted and so obedient to the faith, and not just to the Lord, to Jesus, to the Holy Spirit, so much so to us that as well, that in serving us, he's so serving the Lord. And to think that you give up so much of the world when you pursue the priesthood, and anyone of who is inspired from any denomination to serve the Lord. It is so inspiring to me, because when I was considering the seminary, I didn't realize just how much of your life that you give up. And so just pray for Father Curtis Zuckerman. He's truly going to have a profound impact on the world and on the community that he's going to be serving. Father Garrett, wow, what can I say about Father Garrett other than he is so obedient? He's so committed to Jesus. He's so committed to our congregation at St. Patrick's, to the parish. He serves in so many different capacities. He's also the judge for the diocese. He's a lawyer for the diocese. He's just brilliant, but above being brilliant, he's so kind and loving and warm and accepting and encouraging. And he's just so true to what it means to serve. And he is such a good friend to me. He's so kind to me. I mean, I'm a simple person, and yet every day when I see him, and it's not every day, but when I do see him, he always embraces me with kindness, a good word, with encouragement, with love, with a friendship. And I'm so grateful, and I'm so inspired by Father Garrett's devotion and commitment to the Lord, to the church. He doesn't spend a lot of time with his own family, his blood family, because we're his family. And he takes it very seriously and believes it to be so. If you ever get a chance to come to one of the masses that Father Garrett is a celebrant to, you will so enjoy his homilies, and you will feel his love and his compassion and his obedience to truly serving the Lord in the way that Christ means for us to serve one another. I am wanting to mention another person that I am inspired by. She is an old family friend. Her name is Melissa. She works with my sister Estelle at New York Life. And it oftentimes Estelle comes to me and tells me how grateful she is for Melissa and her friendship and her commitment and her devotion to her work, to the agents that work for New York Life. Estelle tells me how encouraging Melissa is every day, how inspiring she is to them every day, how she encourages them to get out there and serve the community in the way that they serve the community through New York Life. And Melissa, to you, I say, thank you for you inspire me. You inspire me for your devotion. Estelle says you don't oftentimes do enough for yourself because you're always doing for other people. So you are in my prayers. I love you. I'm grateful for you. I'm thankful for you. I'm inspired by you and the work that you do for the many people that work for you in your group, at your office, and at New York Life. And just thank you. And I want to tell you, thank you for listening and for tuning in. Estelle says that you're always listening to every episode, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so inspired by you. And hey, just keep listening. That's what I want to say. I love you, and keep listening. And guys, one last thing, we can be inspired by everyday people. Take the time to say hello. Take the time to speak to a stranger and put yourself out there. Be inspired to pursue your dreams, to follow your dreams, to set your goals, and just do the daily steps to get to each goal, and seek out inspiration from anywhere you can. Okay. Who inspires you? What are you inspired by? That's what I want you to ponder. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I love you. I'm praying for you. Please continue to pray for me, and also pass along the episodes. Please subscribe. Please tune in. Please comment, and let's do what we can to inspire others to find this podcast. Thank you so much. I love you.